From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is an OU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with OU beat writer Ryan Aber. Ryan, something of a relic is coming to Norman on Saturday, that being the triple option. Army runs an offense that you don't see much in football anymore, in sort of the way that you didn't used to see teams pass the ball very much. Now everybody passes and nobody runs a triple option, but Army does. What's the challenge for Oklahoma when it comes to defending the triple option?
Well, the challenge seems simple, but it's a little bit more difficult than that. And everybody I talked to Roy Williams, Teddy Lehman, who both played for Oklahoma in 2001 when the Sooners faced Air Force, their triple option attack. They said you've got to be in the right place, be where you're supposed to, and they said it sounds easy, but it gets much more complicated. Army only runs about 8 to 10 plays, but they do it out of so many different looks, and that changes who has the pitch man, who has the dive man, who has the quarterback, and those moving parts make it really difficult to slow down, especially when you only face it pretty much once in your career. Well,
I was going to say, that to me has to be the biggest thing, because you're really asking a defense that's been built and practiced and geared towards stopping all these passing attacks that you see around college football now. You said that Army, while their passing numbers are up this year, they're still nowhere close to what Oklahoma normally faces. The run attack is where it is. So is it almost like Oklahoma just has to, as a defense, sort of set aside everything else for a week and just go into, you know, almost a bunker mentality on the triple option?
Yeah, it really is. And Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley did spend time during the spring working on Army's triple option, during preseason camp working on Army's triple option. So they were working on this well before they started preparing for anybody else. And he said, Lincoln Riley said it's a difficult balance, figuring out how much to work on it versus how much you work on what everybody else is going to do, because everybody else does something completely different to what you're going to see out of the Black Knights. But it is tough to put everything away and focus on something that's so diametrically different.
83% of their plays are run plays, where a lot of teams Oklahoma faces, it's the exact opposite.
And last year it was up around 90% for them.
Yeah, like I said, they're throwing it more, about 13 times a game, which again is a quarter lots of times in the Big 12. Is there a guy or a position, Ryan, that is the key to unlocking this, you know, figuring out how to stop this triple option?
Well, I think it really your linebackers, and you talk about guys like Mark Jackson Jr. I think he's going to play a big role in this game, like Kenneth Murray, like Curtis Bolton to a little bit lesser extent. But those guys have to be able to react to their assignments quickly, know where they're supposed to be, make sure other people know what they're supposed to do. I think Kenneth Murray is the key to this whole equation. You know, he didn't have a tackle at all in that game against Florida Atlantic to start the season, but he's just been fantastic the last 2 weeks. And part of that Florida Atlantic is the fact that Florida Atlantic was growing around the outside. But Kenneth Murray is going to play a big role, and you could see his tackle numbers be really big. You know, one of the interesting things, I talked to Teddy Lehman yesterday, and Teddy Lehman said that maybe this is the perfect time for this opponent, because of Oklahoma's tackling troubles on Saturday against Iowa State, that this forces you to be so fundamental in what you do that this could be an on-the-field fix for some of those tackling issues.
All right, we'll see how it goes on Saturday at 6 o'clock. Oklahoma, Army. It's just a fun matchup because of all the storylines that grow out of these games against the service academies. It's the pay-per-view game down in Norman. If you're not headed that way, you can check out. We'll have information as the week goes on about getting that game ordered up on pay-per-view. And be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.